Hello, and thank you so much for spending your Friday night into Saturday morning with us. If you're on East Coast time, we appreciate you joining us. Get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. They're going toward a very special cause tonight. The family of Jay Briscoe has a fundraiser up, and we are going to donate the chats from this to that. So if you have anything to say about Smackdown and Rampage, if you have anything to say, just sending your best wishes to them and their family. If you just want to make a donation, you can do that via super chat. You can do that via humper chat. Or you can show us your biddies on Twitch. That's right. Twitch.tv/FightfulGaming. Show us your biddies. I have an Alex with me. I have the OG Alex with me.
Mm-hmm.
I have Alex Pulowski.
Mm-hmm.
In the house, joining me, we got other Alex, 2.0 Alex. Mirror Alex is at a wedding in Florida. I hit up Dude Felice, and he said, "I don't want to stream with you." What? I'm too much of a big shot. Dude Felice said he's been a little sick.
Yep.
So we called up Alex from Select today. We called him up from the pen. He already recorded one podcast with me earlier, so send him your best wishes to get through this with me. But Alex, how you doing today?
Just like with my date for the junior prom, I was the third choice. So it's totally fine. It's totally fine. Two other guys said no to you, and you came crawling to me. That was my move back when I was 17 years old. Two other guys said no, and I was all that was left. Thank you very much.
Look, you dealt with me twice this week already. Last week we did a 4-hour podcast on Tuesday. I thought, you know what? Maybe we'll give this guy a break from dealing with me. So that was not the case.
No.
Not what happened. Nope. Alex, even though I'm technically hosting, I'm going to ask you to steer the humper chat and super chat portion of this, if you don't mind, because my Wi-Fi is being a total brat per usual. That usually doesn't help. We did want to take a moment to, I know we talked about it extensively on Tuesday because that was right when the news of Jay Briscoe broke, but it just wasn't enough on Tuesday. I texted Sean late yesterday and said, can we donate the super chats and the humper chats from tomorrow's stream to the family? And part of the reason that I thought about that was a few things. One, we had the Fightful Awards, and I watched them, and I moderated them, which was a huge mistake. And I saw the video that Dax Harwood sent, and he won a bunch of awards, as he should have. And he sent us a video, and then he sent us a more recent video after Jay passed. And it was really, really touching. And at the end of it, he said it was because of those matches he was able to take care of his family in a different way, and that he was going to do his best to take care of Jay's family. And I also got this order from Pro Wrestling Tees where I spent way too much money on a bunch of wrestling gear. And in it, I had this Fight Like an 8-Year-Old Girl shirt that the proceeds go to, I forget which heart foundation, but was inspired by Dax's daughter having to fight for her own life. And I just kept thinking about Jay's 2 daughters, man. I just kept thinking about the fact that there are 2 little girls that are in the hospital, and it made me feel like we had to do more than we were doing, made me realize that maybe our community could do more than I could do donating individually. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate that Sean let us do this, and I appreciate you guys donating. So get in those super chats and humper chats, donations, more important than you ever have before. So appreciate it. But I think neither show was overwhelmingly significant today. I think because we had the tag team tournament, maybe we will start with Smackdown and go from there. But Alex, overall, I felt like we had some good in-ring. Something happened with Bray Wyatt, so that's more than I can say about other weeks, which is good.
Right.
0 women's matches, which stinks like a stinky butt, Alex, because we got Cody Rhodes video package again. We got the 30th Raw anniversary package, which felt like it was 30 years long. Can't fit in a women's match there at some point, so that was a little frustrating. And AEW Rampage, kind of know what to expect. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Nothing overly consequential happening there, but a good, strong show. Our shows, I think, are always a blast. What did you think overall tonight?
I mean, overall, it was all right. I think Rampage is it's kind of sinking into its little groove where they're going to put on some good matches, and some stuff will lead from one thing to another. They every week it seems like they do something that feeds into some kind of long-term storytelling. We saw a Eddie Kingston, a major moment in Eddie Kingston's overall story happen tonight on a Rampage, a taped Rampage. So I like that they're giving you some reason to tune in every week beyond, hey, there's a couple of good matches. There's something else. If you want to know what's going on every week, you gotta watch Rampage, or at least keep up with what happened on it, so that you understand what's going on Dynamite every week. I think that's good. And as far as SmackDown goes, I just want to know who made that bracket for the tag tournament, because I mean, I don't understand why you're putting two of the best matches that are going to be in the tournament in the first round when you don't have to. There's no reason to at all to do that. So anyway, we'll talk more about that. But I think that we are heading directly on the path to what I want, which is something I'm dreading. I want something that I'm dreading to happen. And we're heading right there, and that makes me happy too. So
agreed. And we do open with what was a through line throughout the night in general, this bloodline arc. And I'm going to recap everything but the main event real fast, and we'll get your thoughts on that. Just a reminder to get in super chats and humper chats. I see a lot more people have joined since I kind of said at the beginning of the show that the donations are going to Jay Briscoe's family tonight.
Yes.
But we kind of open with Roman being generally pissed and shooing Sami away. We get a segment later where he tells Sami to go find his own bloodline, which hurt my heart. That was starting, man. It's starting. And then we get what I'm going to call piss at the Castle promo. Not Clash at the Castle, but the Piss at the Castle promo. Paul Heyman kind of points out to Roman Reigns that maybe right now, with Kevin Owens being the guy to face him at Royal Rumble, maybe now, this exact moment is not the time to have Sami on your bad side. Maybe just hold it off a little longer, get kind of through Kevin Reigns. And he says, don't you want Sami Zayn inside the castle pissing outward than outside the castle pissing inward? I really liked that because it kind of gave some weight to Sami's role in all of this. Like, he seems like a viable threat if he is not on their side, which was good. And then later, before the contract signing, we get Roman talking to Sami, kind of leaning into that advice and saying that he has an anger problem and he brings in counsel to help him manage his anger. Sami and him are more alike than he had kind of given credit to. Sami's a perfectionist just like him. And Sami says, everybody loves you, Roman. Totally. Thank you for hearing me out. And then we get the contract signing, which we're going to talk about in his rightful main event slot tonight. But what did you think of all this? I think this is when Roman is in his biggest groove, is these segments where he's being like so contemplative and just like ice cold veins strategizing. I thought it was awesome.
Yes, I think Roman's absolutely found his groove, and it is too bad that we didn't have more of this throughout the last 9 months. I think it would have made him the whole reign, the double reign, more palatable if we'd gotten more of this kind of stuff. But really, this is all on Sami. Sami makes the whole thing work. Sami's face when Roman refused to dap him up as he got out of the car was just amazing. Like but I did everything you asked. I had the match, and like that was great. Also, Solo, also not dapping him up because the big dog didn't do it, so he can't either. I thought that was great. The moment of Sammy's like explanation, like I didn't know what the plan was. I didn't know. I was just surprised they came out because I thought I was supposed to go out there by myself and prove that I belonged, and I thought I did, and I was going to win, and no, the Usos came out and they did their deal. So he was surprised by it. And he's like, I wish you would just run it past me. Because I just didn't know what was going on. I didn't know the plan. Like, so I was supposed to run everything past you for you. I can't make plans without making sure it's okay with the honorary use. But the way I loved it though was you could tell Roman was pissed, but it was he was so dismissive.
Yes.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Just go away. I don't what do you get out of here? Because we've seen when Roman absolutely flies off the handle, that kind of anger. We saw it a couple weeks ago where he got up in Sammy's face in the middle of the ring, and this felt like different. So I love that there are different levels to Roman stuff. The one thing I will say this, you can absolutely say the same thing without having saying pissing a bunch of times. Like that was just a weird thing. Like, wouldn't it be better to have Sami Zayn on our side than question whether or not he's on Kevin's side? So maybe we should, bring him back into the fold as opposed to pissing. It was just so much pissing. Also, I just hope that by next week Sami Zayn has watched the show, because I know there's nothing more that I hate than doing something in front of the camera, saying something in front of the camera that is being broadcast on the show, and when you say something like when Paul Heyman says, "I never liked it." So here's what we're going to do. We're going to trick him into coming back and being part of the family because that's better for the family. I hope Sami Zayn, at least somebody calls him up and says, "Hey, by the way, Paul Heyman never liked you," and they're totally tricking you. Somebody should do that just for the sake of Sami Zayn. I wouldn't mind so much if there was, if he did it and he didn't know the camera was rolling or something, but just the idea of just saying something. Sammy should know this by next week. But all of this internal family drama has been really good. Has been very, very good, and we're heading directly toward it. We're heading directly toward Sammy deciding that Kevin has had enough. You don't need to actually kill him. He's got a family, and that being the last straw for Roman. So perfect.
Yeah, and you had mentioned this last week, and I think I brought it up on here, but it kind of got reiterated tonight of Sammy just having pride in the fact that he was going to be the one to take care of Kevin Owens. Like, it was his responsibility. He had pride in that. He felt good about that. Like, I loved that piece of this, and that kind of came through tonight. So really, really loved that. Since you're driving the super chat ship, is there anything that you want to pull up for now?
Sure. We have a lot of stuff here for well, Orion Ben first asks, more toxic boss, Roman Reigns or Bill Lumberg? Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go out and find the Usos. Yeah, and I'm gonna need you to go ahead and call the pilots, make sure the jet's all fueled up and on the runway. Okay? Yeah. All right.
Did you get the memo?
Yeah.
Ask me after Royal Rumble. My answer will be very, very clear. I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. I do like just the idea of that basically makes Sami Zayn by the end of it. I believe you have my stapler. I mean like by the end of it, that's basically what we get. Cyclops is better than Logan says Roman has gaslit Sammy to the point that he thinks he's the problem. Roman is a cruel manipulator. So fun to watch, though. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I listen. Everybody who's like, Sammy's got to be the one to beat Roman. Sammy's got to be the one to beat Roman. Listen, in a perfect world, absolutely. Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns is the end to this story. and there's no way they're going to have Sami Zayn be the one to beat Roman. So I think the people who are actually believing it need to manage their expectations, because that's just not a thing that they're going to do. But they absolutely would have Sami and Kevin beat the Usos. So that's the thing that I hope for, because that is a trigger they will pull. Amish Electrician says PG Pulowski taking the piss out of the show. Yeah, no piss puns tonight. Nope, not doing those. No, definitely not on this show. We have a lot of things here, donations and mentions for Jay Briscoe. Henry T. Casey says, for Kate and Alex, a pun in tribute. What did Jay and Mark say to the McDonald's drive-thru worker? Reach for the fries.
Boy.
Yeah. Ricardo Leodev making mention that Michael Cole, one of the first things he said was he mentioned Jay on the broadcast, yes. Jay Briscoe, our hearts go out to his family, all that kind of stuff. And that was great, man. And yeah, Ricardo saying Michael Cole put over Jay on Fed TV again tonight. That's awesome. And I firmly believe a thing that could not have happened 7-8 months ago.
No,
not a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy about that.
Me too.
Matt Black says, enjoyed both shows tonight. Happy to donate to Jay Briscoe's family. Matt, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the donation, Matt. JW Pringle says, it's a Friday night SGS party. The Dax acceptance video got me right in the feels. Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard to watch. It's a beautiful thing. Happy to donate to help. Tell those that you love them for life. Absolutely. GM Beard says, just saw on Twitter, Jay's daughter has feeling back in her lower extremities. This is absolutely fantastic news. Yes, it is, because that was in doubt for a while, and I'm awesome. Kylie Girick says, much love, Fightful family. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. Thank you for the donation. Lord Kev says, most for the Pugh family. Another little bit for the horses that got blown to bits. On my Red Dead 2 stream, I accidentally dynamited some horses, but I went back and I redid it so they didn't get dynamited.
Next week, you'll rampage them.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. Zing. Another little bit because Alex is the man, and the remainder because I heart emoji Miss Kate. Well, thank you so much, Lord Kev. We have some really, really very generous donations that I want to highlight. A very, very large donation. I won't say the specific amount, but very large donations from Jacob McCrae, sending this for Jay's daughters. Life can be chaotic and fleeting. Let the people you love always know that you love and you care for them. We can't account for tomorrow. Make the time you have now with the people you care about matter. And another incredibly large donation. Thank you from CO, who sends in a Humper chat that says, read the most recent updates on the Pugh family, and I wanted to give more. I've hugged my daughters a little tighter each night since this happened. The only solace I take from this is watching the wrestling family take care of their own. SGS for life. Yep. Yeah, that has been a kind of amazing thing. That like it's just the idea of everyone coming together to support and remember Jay Briscoe. It's kind of an amazing thing. We also we got in just earlier an incredibly large donation via Sour Chat, which we don't normally take on these YouTube shows, but I'll make sure and funnel that from the account directly to the donation
into our pocket. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to take 20% as the finder's fee. Queen Switch G Kills says, gotta get up early for work and can't watch Rampage till tomorrow and listen to the show after, but I saw Kate's post about the proceeds and wanted to help. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe, praying for his children and family. Love to SGS, Kate and Alex. Your kindness doesn't, and then it cut off. So,
our kindness doesn't.
Our kindness doesn't.
It doesn't.
Our kindness just doesn't. So,
it just doesn't.
But your kindness, Queen Switch, does.
It does. Yeah.
Donation, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Ali Cease is here, everybody, and she's reminding us of the important stuff. Jungle Hook is wrestling at the Kentucky debut Dynamite on Wednesday. I'm gonna cry. Yes.
You mean professional wrestler Ellie Cease, aka Ellie
Yes.
Albright, who has a
Ellie
pro wrestling tee store where you can go buy her pro wrestling t-shirt.
Yep. Allie Albright of the toothpaste Albrights. Sorry, I'm always going to do that. I love the name. I love the name. Allie Albright's amazing, but I can't.
Oh, it's so perfect for her. It's so perfect because she's all bright all the time.
Yes, she is. She is all bright. We have some other ones here. Ricardo Leo DV says, miss most of both shows. Thanks for watching for me. G Bro says, biddies for the kiddos. So that's great. Orion Ben 666 says, Alex Prime KDQ, is this the Khan party room? You know, where Tony Khan does nice things for his employees and it's a big scandal. All right.
Drink and aggregate responsibly. That's all I'll say.
That's how we'll do that. Tom LaValle, with a very clever little super chat, says, good evening, okay, everyone. Sorry, my keyboard was acting like hates internet.
Thank you. Here it is. I'll pull it up because it is too clever to not. It's so good. I can't even be mad at that. It's like my internet meets Wheel of Fortune. Like you gotta buy a vowel to solve the puzzle, but the past few times I've restarted my router, it was good, and then not so much.
No. CO says, in honor of having the Tuesday crew, I chose to do like I do on Tuesdays and not watch the wrestling, but definitely watch the post show. Love you all.
Aw, thank you.
And a real quick question before we get back to the rundown. Scotty Bosock says, I just want to hear Kate's take on Sean loving pun culture when it's the propagation of his own pun.
I've got a lot of thoughts about Sean Ross Sapp on Wednesdays. All right. He steals our puns. He's interviewing scripts. Like, get your own bit. Can you get yourself over? Or do you have to go around with this Tuesday night gimmick infringement? Is he going to start doing impressions of William Regal and coming up with original characters next? It's ridiculous. He has stolen my creative. He has stolen Alex's creative. Get his tang out of here. I'm done.
It's pure gimmick infringement. 100%. Quoth the Raven says, they pulled the trigger for D-Bry. Why not Sammy? I just don't. I don't know if they would even pull the trigger for D-Bry against this champion, because like the person he dethroned wasn't 871 days like the top guy in the entire company. I mean, Randy Orton's a top guy, but he wasn't the top guy. Like he was the champion, certainly, but I would love to believe it. And I listen, there will be no time in history that I'll be happier to be proven wrong if Sami Zayn dethrones Roman Reigns to become the champion. I would love it. But
I'll also say there's a big piece of this where the story is Kevin and Sammy as well. Like it's so much about their friendship, where Danielson, the story was about Danielson, and because WWE can't tell stories where the babyface isn't just suppressed all the time, it was Danielson being held back and the crowd being organically behind him, where this has a whole piece of this that is the friendship of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Danielson was a standalone.
All right.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, we got one here that's kind of a double thing. Forgot about Drea. Says much love and support to the Pew family. Hanging out with the SGS and Fightful Faithfuls made my life better. Can't ask for a better wrestling community. Well, thank you so much. Early Rumble predictions, and why should it be Rhea Ripley and Sami Zayn? Rhea Ripley for sure. I think that it all depends on where they lay out everything in the show. Like Roman always does his matches last, like almost always. So if he's defending the title, who knows if they're actually going to do that last. If they do the men's Rumble before they do the Sammy and Kevin, the Kevin and Roman's match, then there might be some leeway there. I love the idea of Sammy being in the Rumble. with a specific hit list of guys he's got to eliminate that Roman has told him. This guy can't win, this guy can't win, this guy can't win. And Sammy being able to eliminate all of them except for whoever the eventual winner is. And like, I would think that. I would think Cody Rhodes. And that being a part of. I gave you one damn job. Well, actually, Roman, you gave me 7 damn jobs and I eliminated 6 of them. Like, I'm really sorry. Like that kind of a thing. And that just not being enough for Roman, which leads to the eventual explosion. But I don't know what they're going to do as far as that is.
Well, Roman and Seth opened last year, right?
Right. They
so that
could be it this time as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's where they go with it. But I love that idea. Or even like an already beaten down Sammy and Kevin get in there just for the pops or whatever like that.
Yeah,
that could be a whole lot of fun. There were some stories that came out. Subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. But there were some stories that came out too about that. There was no problem with them telling us about Cody because everybody knew it was happening, but because they have some other surprises in store that are maybe different from your traditional Rumble surprises, which makes me hope it's story. I mean, my hope of all hopes is that it's Biggie and we're all just blown away and I'm sitting there sobbing like a baby twice in the same Rumble because I'm going to cry when Sammy gets turned on too.
Like if it's Biggie, that would be one of the best surprises that I think I could possibly have. That would be amazing. I assume it's just a bunch of celebrities I don't like. That's what I assume the non-traditional surprises are. Hey, it's that guy who did the theme for the Rumble. Jeff Hardy. No, that different Hardy. That guy. I'm probably gonna be that guy. I don't know. Yeah. So
I think it sounds like Chew and they should have some NXT guys in there as well.
I hope
so. That would be good.
Yeah.
Do you think Naomi comes back? Is kind of the new.
I mean, I
chatter on this.
That's what I would like. I would really love my. And I said this before. What I want is I want Naomi to win the Rumble, last eliminating Rhea Ripley, and I want Rhea Ripley to just destroy everyone in the Elimination Chamber. So we get Rhea Ripley versus Bianca and Naomi versus Charlotte, with Charlotte along the way showing her true colors as a heel because I hate babyface Charlotte. It doesn't work. It'll never work. Nobody likes Charlotte.
I actually didn't hate what we got in here, but I'll defend myself in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into at least the first match of the night, which if Sean was here, he would call a fun sirloin beef sons of bitches match between the Viking Raiders and Drew and Sheamus. Some really fun stuff in here. Ivar going for the future shock, but Drew turning it into a Michinoku driver was ridiculous. But ultimately, this ends with Sheamus landing the knee, Drew claymoring Eric, and Sheamus hitting a bro kick on Ivar for the win. This was a blast. I feel like if there was a good Jay Briscoe tribute show without being a Jay Briscoe tribute show, it was awesome tag team wrestling, and we got 2 really great matches tonight. This was one of them, Alex. It really was. This was absolutely, these guys kicked the crap out of each other. It was really great. I really loved it. I feel bad for the Viking Raiders for Hanson and Rowe because this gimmick is like it's too much Viking by half. Like it's just so much. It's like they stepped out of Bill and Ted's phone booth. Like it's just so much Viking. And I don't think that's really going to get fully over with the crowds in a way that's really going to help them, even though they're amazing wrestlers. And I guess this is the time to talk about this. They released the bracket for the full tournament. And we already know, because of the thing that they showed us last week, that there is absolute, like, actual standing animosity between the Banger Bros, which make sure you put the ER in there before you Google it, kids, because it's entirely different without the ER. The Banger Bros and the Viking Raiders have beef. So there's no reason why you couldn't set them up
on the same side of the bracket, and then they face each other in the final four. Because when you have this many teams in a tournament, you have 8 teams in the tournament. The matches, I think, should be dictated by the fact that the most competitive ones are closer to the big final. So this is one of the if this turns out to be the best match of the entire tournament, I can't say I'll be surprised. It was a really great match. And then the winner of this faces a team that they'll beat in 5 minutes. And across on the other side of the bracket, you had Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes, and they have a lot of history, which they talked about during the actual match. There's no reason that they aren't the other Final Four matchup, and they beat teams along the way. But instead, now we'll talk about this later. The Imperium won that one, and they've got a cakewalk through. Because listen, as much as I love Legado del Fantasma, they're gonna win. They're gonna lose that match in no more than 7 minutes, and you know they are, because that's how they book shit. So it just makes no sense to me why you wouldn't have these matches be semifinal matches. You're booking the tournament. You're laying out your own bracket. Lay it out so that the best matches, like, they get better and better before you get to the end. It doesn't make sense to me. Why not?
And Alex, there's so many issues with the AP poll, as we've talked about before. We're calling the Adam Pearce system the AP poll, which I love. And speaking of that, we get Raquel deciding that she's in the Royal Rumble, because some people have to qualify and other people have to declare. So Adam Pearce is the AP poll is what we decided on Fightful Select yesterday. I love it. Of course, Raquel's in the Rumble. Of course, she's in that top 25 spot. She's going to do some work. She's going to throw some people out over those ropes. No doubt. No doubt. So we move along to something that is good and bad.
Hold on one second. Let me.
Oh yeah, we got chats about the.
We got chats.
I love
Jambeard jumping the gun because he hadn't watched the show. Sent in $5 Canadian to just be completely wrong. Says it's going to be Brawling Brutes versus Banger Bros in the finals, ain't it? Nope. But here's the thing: is that we'll talk more about that. Listen, I love Imperium, but there was a lot of intrigue in, like, Sheamus having to fight his boys in the finals of this tournament. I don't like that kind of intrigue, because I think they handle it really poorly when they like, oh, Sheamus having a falling out with his friends. It's always really poorly, overly dramatic. But certainly seemed like something they would do. But no, that's not going to be what it's going to be. And Chi-Town Spurs says Scotch Irish versus Vikings, a rivalry dating back to 795 AD. That's what we call long-term storytelling, folks.
That is a long-term story, that's for sure, where the Brawling Brutes and the Bang Bros, the quadruple Bs, sorry to MJF's the 3B belt over there, but the quadruple B belt matchup here. My bigger issue is kind of with the fact that, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but it just feels like Butch is carrying so much of the side of that. And I try not to define people's entire careers based on botches, and Ridge Holland had one of the worst situations come out of his, but like, he also just hasn't done a ton more on television. So when he's not like in the mix on these matches as much, that gets a little bit tricky. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. Did we have any more chats on this?
Well, we had something about this about all of the amazing women's wrestling we saw on SmackDown.
Oh my God, because there was
Oh, and don't forget the it slipped my mind.
It almost feels like there was no women's matches on the show.
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird. Couldn't possibly be that, though. Not when they were running a Cody Rhodes video package for the 4th week in a row. Not when they had a did you know 30 years we're on the longest running episode of Get Town. Put a women's match on my show.
They show one women's match on across 5 hours, because there was only one women's match on Raw. Yeah. One women's match across 5 hours of TV. And that Raw is XXX rated logo that they have. Listen, this little promo they run for it, they have all like it's so long because they include stuff in there that doesn't need to be included. Like the Judgment Day turning on Edge gets its own little highlight package in this overall thing, but they don't have Mick Foley winning the title in the video montage. Like, come on, guys! Like, get your priorities in order. Listen, we listen. Either we're gonna watch Raw or we're not. And of course, they have the outstanding lineup of racists and rapists who are coming back to be on the show, and we get to watch them be there and take over all of our time. It's not good, man.
That's deep.
Jake Salazar says that women's match on SmackDown, absolute banger. And
yeah, I can't even wrap my head around it. Like I haven't even processed it mentally because it's almost like it never happened.
Did they? Ryan, I missed that. I was watching it and I must have blinked. So.
I'll admit it. I wasn't really that locked into it. I already saw this promo package. I don't need it. I don't need to watch the promo package. I'm already watching Raw on Monday. We're covering it. So there are like 160 more people here than in the beginning of the show, and we thank you for joining. All the super chats and humper chats tonight are going toward Jay Briscoe's family. So feel free to send in a donation, kind words about Jay Briscoe, your thoughts on the show tonight, whatever you want, as long as it is respectful. That's all we ask.
King of the North says, under 5 minutes of women's wrestling on your 5 most important hours of television in a week. Doesn't seem ideal. Where's the backlash online? I think if this becomes a trend again, like it was, I think you might start to, this is like 2 weeks in a row of this. They've had some good women's wrestling over the past couple of months. This is a bad look right now. I won't deny it. I want there to be. There needs to be more backlash online because this can't stand. But I think you'll see a lot more of it if it becomes more of a train. Yeah.
I did see a lot about it, but I'm also mouthy about women's wrestling. So that For You tab, stuff's for me.
Elon probably made sure you saw a lot of that. Chi-Town Spurs says 4 minutes of women's wrestling over 5 hours of television in 2023 is downright inexcusable. If you had told me a year ago that a Triple H booked WWE Women's Division be surpassed by AEW, I have never believed you. Well, that's very true.
And clearing it like by miles for this week. We did get a women's segment, but yeah, no women's matches is pretty inexcusable. Which is gross, especially with only one match in 3 hours. Come on, people.
Yeah, Jake Salazar says in celebration of Ric Flair on Raw XXX, Ric Flair drip go woo on a 5790 spent a coup on my wrist. Listen, the Big E winning the title got more airtime than Foley's win on the little thing, so good for Big E. That's good, I guess. Big E's awesome. That's a lyric from the Ric Flair drip song.
Bad Bunny's song.
Oh, okay. All right. There's no reason to celebrate Ric Flair being anywhere near a television at this point in his career, because this is not. So that's my thing personally.
Not even with just everything we know about him, but like he's not like coherent anymore. So don't need that. But undeniably a part of 30 years of Raw.
It's by the Migos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not by the Bad Bunny. It's by the Migos. So you should have known this. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for the Migos. There would be none of this if it was not for the Migos.
It's so true. My deepest apologies.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what that's about, watch Tuesdays and be fun with us.
Yes.
So we'll dive into this LA Knight segment with Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like LA Knight has done so much, and we haven't gotten enough of what he said today. I love how quick and subtle this was. Before he goes on to eat a jobber for breakfast, R.I.P. jobber, the thing that he says about I know who I am and Bray not knowing who he is awesome to me. I absolutely adore him pointing out that Bray is cycling through different personalities and that LA Knight has known exactly who he is the whole time. Yeah. And then we get the Firefly Funhouse back, and I got mixed feelings about it. It was fun to see all the characters wake up from like this dusty, dank place that the Firefly Funhouse was. The Firefly Funhouse that we saw when Bray came back in general was really good. I popped for a Ramblin' Rabbit saying that LA Knight is the Miz with muscles. They say the dark is where bad things happen, alluding to the pitch black match. We don't know what the pitch black match is other than it's an anything goes hardcore street fight, whatever you want to call it. But I was glad something happened. I'm just nervous this is going to lead to Bray fighting himself instead of LA Knight, which makes me nervous.
I think the pitch black match will be him fighting LA Knight. I don't know where we go from here. I think that the Amish electrician says Firefly Pun House.
That's what we call the Sour Grap Society for sure from now on.
Yeah, Firefly Pun House. And Kim Gray says, this isn't much, but want to help the Briscoes for her donation. And then says, my hope for the Bray stuff is that Bray is such a genius and has such a great payoff plan that it was worth the slow build. So I don't know what this signifies. There's part of me that because like the promo he cut where he was in the rocking chair again, like the rocking chair was such an iconic part of that version of Bray Wyatt.
Which is one, right?
Right.
Wyatt
right.
6. That was one of the 6.
This is the thing, is like is the Wyatt 6? Is that 6 people that he's going to recruit? Is it 6? Like, are there going to be new puppets, creating a menagerie of 6 puppets, or is it these 6 personalities of his? And they started with the rocking chair, and in the Firefly Funhouse. The Firefly Funhouse is interesting because it was the last thing that he did before he was released. It was regardless of whether or not you or I or anybody else liked it, it was hugely over. People like the merchandise sales prove it. People loved the Fiend stuff, and at the beginning, the Fiend stuff was as cool and atmospheric and badass as anything else in wrestling, and then they ruined it with a booking, which I would argue is probably what happened with all of Bray's stuff. Like, a lot of it was really cool. The whole Swamp Billy cult leader stuff with Harper and Rowan was really awesome, and they ruined it by having him, win matches via exploding television and lose matches because John Cena. You know what I mean? Like, and just really awkward stuff. So
really, exploding television should be a really cool thing. It sounds so much cooler than it was.
Yeah. I think that there's a possibility, because everything else has not been going great, and because who is around, that they're like, you know what? Let's pivot and start building back to you just being the Fiend. Because we never got to finish out that storyline. And maybe there's still some more legs there. That's one. I'm of two minds on this. Or this is a stop along the way of him showing us all of the sides of Wyatt before we get to WrestleMania. The reason I think it's more that one, because they're still throwing in all the Uncle Howdy stuff. Uncle Howdy's still there. He's still in control. He's still showing us all this stuff. The one thing also is that with the Uncle Howdy thing, you notice he just keeps repeating the same lines over and over again. And I have to go back and start listening to the other ones. But tonight, I swear to God, half the time he was repeating the line, it was Bray Wyatt, and the other half, it was Bo Dallas. Like, Bo has a very specific sound to his voice, and the half of it was Bray and half of it was Bo. So, like, they're going back and forth. There's really an interesting possibility here that the degree of difficulty on this actually hitting is so high. It's so high, and I want it to work out for Bray, because I do. I like Bray. I think he got the shaft a bunch of times. I just don't think it's going to turn out well for him.
Another interesting thing that they could do would be to put LA Knight over and have Bray completely snap, and that's when the other personalities kind of come into play, or Alexa comes into play. But I think LA Knight going over is a really interesting possibility that people maybe aren't considering as much. Maybe LA Knight fights every version of Bray's personalities or something. It could be salvaged, but I'm pessimistic because of the past.
The Amish electrician says, looking forward to the debut of Bray Quiet.
Oh, sad.
Quoth the Raven says, Bray Wyatt's current story is Veer is coming, but with in-ring promos as opposed to vignettes.
Thank you for the segue to a Blue Chew ad.
Go ahead.
Oh, man. I just switched our little brandy thing. Hold on. Veer is coming, but with promos, you say. Is that what you said? Because that's what I heard. Sometimes it's not as easy as maybe Bray Wyatt makes it look. Maybe this has been going on a little too long for you, but heck, there's a lot of gentlemen in this world who wish it would be going on a little bit longer. And some ladies as well that wish that would go on a little bit longer. So maybe, someone can stop by and tell you all about it.
We care about that performance in wrestling, that main event performance. But maybe in the bedroom, you don't have the confidence to perform. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL will help get you there. It's got the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know it works. You know it's that good stuff. But it works on your schedule, or maybe when you're not even ready and you want to get there. You consult with the online physician. You don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. You don't have to wait in line at the doctor's office. No awkward in-person meeting. And if approved, it ships straight to your door in a discreet package. But there will be nothing discreet about your package when you use BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. But you know what? How about free? Get your first shipment free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Just pay $5 shipping. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL. Get that main event performance.
We got one more about Bray in here. Here we go. Yes, Jambeard says, I have a bad feeling that Uncle Howdy will cost Bray the match, and thus Bray loses his return match. I mean, that's certainly very possible. It's very easy for a guy to sneak out to the ring when it's pitch black in the arena. Something like that, possibly. Oh, Meet Normus. We played a Blue Chew ad, and Meet Normus appeared as if by magic. Says, Meet here, sending love to the SGS, especially to Linder. Well, thank you so much, Meet.
Thank you so much. I actually don't hate the idea of Bray losing in his return match. One, who he's going to be over for, he's over for. And two, he's been here since August. Man, I mean, come on. His return match is going to be 8 months after he got here. Come on. So that part doesn't bother me as much. But you know what else doesn't bother me? When y'all subscribe to Fightful. FightfulSelect.com. We're getting now AEW plans and producers for things along with Raw and SmackDown. We've got Royal Rumble meetings news that Sean just posted over there. We've got all sorts of stuff coming to Fightful Select, including pay-per-view post shows with Alex and I on Fightful Select behind the paywall. In case you don't want to hang out with the plebes on the main channel. I'm just kidding. I love the main channel. I'm there right now. But join Alex and us after Royal Rumble. We'll be behind the paywall giving all of our thoughts. And just for the utmost clarity in the whole wide world, anything that is as sensitive as the Jay Briscoe story, none of that gets paywalled ever, ever, ever. That is downright icky. So just know that any information and updates on that situation are always going to be free and available. But subscribe to Fightful Select for all the other fun stuff we've got going on there. And again, these chats from tonight, super chats and humper chats, any donations you want to send in that way are going to the Briscoe family. I keep seeing our numbers go up and down. So thank you for tuning in, and just know that it is a donation stream tonight to the family.
Electric Mayhem.
So
Electric Mayhem is quoting Chad 722, who says that the Bray stuff reminds them of WCW Dungeon of Doom, and so Electric Mayhem is looking forward to the debut of it's Uncle Yeti.
I mean, Dungeon of Womb is Candice LeRae and Becky in our lore, right?
The Legion of Womb. It's the Legion of Womb. Get it right.
Fair enough. It could be either, really.
Yeah, it could be either, really.
Well, Los Lotharios and Hit Row had a match, kind of. Hit Row won with the schoolboy after B-Fab cheated. Not a ton more to say other than that.
Other than Michael Cole continuing to talk shit about Top Dollar, and Top Dollar like threatening to murder Michael Cole popped the hell out of me. Michael Cole versus Top Dollar in a match at WrestleMania. Come on, make it happen, people.
Yeah, hey, talk about this while I try and reconnect to my internet. You vamp.
I'll try. Los Lotharios last had a match in September against Hit Row, and they lost again tonight. Los Lotharios deserves a lot, but Angel Garza is amazing. I like Humberto Carrillo. I think he's incredibly talented. Angel Garza is so damn good at everything, and they're not doing anything. And while there is a danger, as highlighted by MVP, and I'll talk about that in a second, while there is a danger in, hey, let's put all the Latin guys together, I do think if Legado recruited a couple extra dudes and made it into a really good-sized faction, Legado del Fantasma with Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo would be really fun. I think there's a thing to do there. But as MVP said, when somebody was like, I think the Hurt Business should reform and they should add the Street Profits, and Bianca Belair should be the first lady of the Hurt Business. And he was like, yeah, let's also add. And then he listed everybody else on the roster who was black. And then he said, let's bring back Shelton's mama while we're at it. Because, yeah, maybe you don't want to, maybe the idea of all the black people in one stable's not great. So there's a danger of doing it a little too much. But I do think Los Lotharios would fit in really well with Legado. If you're going to push Legado in any way, Los Lotharios hitching their wagon to that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, when they held Elektra Lopez back, I thought maybe that was going to be the plan, was just to call up Santos Escobar and pair them with Santos. And I also don't think that it's like it's because they're Hispanic thing. I think they vibe very well together. Santos Escobar and Angel Garza, especially with how suave they are. How effortlessly cool they are. Like, I feel like they fit together regardless of heritage. I think that could just be a lot of fun regardless. Yep. So I hope so. And it feels like for no reason other than booking, they're both floundering a little bit. So smush them together, give them a little bit of love, give them a reboot.
Right.
I'm going to assume we don't have any chats on this because it was 3 minutes long.
Well, we do. Jake has a fantastic idea, I think. Jake Salazar says Hit Row versus Pat McAfee and Michael Cole at WrestleMania. And I don't hate it. Like, let's bring back first of all, here's what we do. We got to get Wade Barrett on the show where Bronson Reed is, so he can say "Siname" again. And if that's the case, bringing Pat McAfee back to team with Michael Cole on the broadcast booth is great. And then if Hit Row, especially Top Dollar, gets in the face of Michael Cole, and Pat McAfee's like, "Listen, I've been gone for like 8 months, and the whole world goes to hell. How dare you talk to Michael Cole like that?" All of a sudden, right there's something. That's something. Do that. Honestly, unironically, would really enjoy the build to that, and the actual match could be a lot of fun if it's just Pat McAfee trying to protect Michael Cole all the time.
And Shinsuke Nakamura is the special guest referee.
So wait, now Luis is pointing out that ROH LFI comprised of Roosh, Bestia, Del Ring, Dragon Lee, and Kenny King was a nice little hybrid and a good model to follow regarding a faction, especially because 3 of the 4 are Shoot family. So there you go, possibly.
Could be fun. Could be very fun. But hey, Alex, huge breaking news tonight on SmackDown.
What's that? Mm-hmm.
Did you know Cody Rhodes has been injured all this time?
What? Since when?
Remember when him and Seth Rollins had that cage match and his shoulder was all like purple and stuff?
No,
like
see, I can't form new memories. It's a disease thing I have. I'm the perfect audience for WWE programming.
That is unbelievably untrue. You are the worst audience for them. You remember everything.
I was saying if I had that disease, I would be, therefore.
Correct, yeah. I rejected the premise, and therefore the rest didn't work. Cody Rhodes, with triumphant music in the background, has healed from his injury and will be back at Royal Rumble. We've gotten this video package like 480 times. They played it again. Cody could have had a women's match. And speaking of the women's segment, I actually didn't hate this. Wait, did people send us chats about Cody Rhodes?
Shopkey29 says, as much as I like Cody, I feel it's only a matter of time until he runs into the same crowd reactions he was getting by the end of his AEW run because he didn't want to change it all.
So that's also not true. Cody has acknowledged that he was fully a heel at the end of his AEW run, which I appreciated. He said it in a tweet. He was like, "No, I was a heel at that point." I think when Malachi Black came, debuted, that was the beginning of that in the most fun way ever. Yeah. But I do think them running this he's America's hero thing into the ground is going to get real old real fast. But I think it'll be salvaged because Cody's great. Cody's great on the mic. I think he'll start to feel authentic again once he's actually in the ring. And I feel like this is definitely going to be a documentary and they're shoving the footage of it down our throats.
Braun said he's going to win the Royal Rumble. It's weird. Most of the guys who say they're entering say, I know I have virtually no chance of winning, but I'm going to try anyway. No, everyone who cuts a promo says they're going to win it. So it's kind of a weird thing that they actually have people just do that. But also, didn't they have him reference the greatest Royal Rumble, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is the second time anyone's referenced it since it happened? Which is how you know the Saudis are looking to buy. Because they were just, hey, remember that amazing thing we did where we gave Braun a belt the color of Mountain Dew and nobody ever saw it again? How about that? Yeah.
Also, he's not finished with you, Alex, and you're going to get these hands. He says the Royal Rumble is perfect for the monster among monsters, but this isn't a Royal Rumble with monsters, unfortunately. It's a Royal Rumble with wrestlers. So he's misunderstood the assignment. I don't think it's going to work out well for him, but I think he'll eliminate a bunch of people.
Yep.
So there's that.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Any more chats?
No, you can go ahead and talk about Charlotte Flair being a babyface now.
There is something that's working a little bit for me about this, and it's not much, but it's just different than she's been, which is refreshing. And they actually sincerely have needed someone with her caliber and voice, to be honest. Like, this is the most they've actually really, really needed her. So it's working a little bit for me in that regard. I still much prefer her as a heel. I think a cocky face is a really difficult thing to pull off, though possible. But it worked a little bit for me tonight, not gonna lie. Sonya, we get Charlotte. I think the face stuff is working. Most people disagree with me. This whole thing has been because Sonya has been taunting her to try and get her into a second match. She attacked her last week. Adam Pearce denied a rematch because she's a big loser. And Sonya comes out and Charlotte says, let's fight. And Sonya says, I don't care what the people in this local city want, Charlotte. I care what I want, which is classic heel stuff. She keeps acting like she said Sonya puts herself over as a star and says she's being denied all these things. And Charlotte says she knows Sonya as a star, which I actually kind of liked this. She's always told her that, but now Sonya is implying that other people in the locker room aren't. This is Charlotte lifting up the rest of the locker room. This is everything people complained about with her, kind of trying to pivot. And I like that. And she asked, what does Sonya have that others don't? It's actually Sonya's the entitled one here. And I actually thought this was pretty good work. Adam Pearce comes down to the ring because they're trying to set up a rematch for tonight. And Adam Pearce says, hey, I'm in charge and I kiboshed that. And when he does, Sonya cheap shots her. We'll be getting this match at Rumble. Hopefully they give it some real time. I understand why people don't want to see Charlotte face as a Flair, but I think the work that she did tonight was actually pretty good. What did you think?
It was trash. I'm kidding. I don't like it at all, though. I really don't. The problem is what they do with this is they know that they can't. No one's going to cheer Charlotte over anybody except for the raven-haired former executive who we all saw be racist for a year, who comes out and says, your town stinks and it smells and you all smell because your town smells. And I don't care what any of you people think. And Charlotte's like, it's so great to be back here in name of city. And it's just the most transparent bullshit surface level crap. Why do I care? Why do I believe Charlotte has changed? Why do I believe she's a good person now? She's been a terrible person her entire life. What has changed her? What's changed about her? She could say I went off and I got married or something, or I went off. The time that I took off made me realize how much I missed being in front of crowds or whatever. Just because I missed you guys. Anyway, more about me. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. As soon as they move beyond Sonya to anybody else the crowd has any kind of connection to, they'll turn on Charlotte immediately. That's why you got to find this is why I'm very worried. They're just gonna I don't want to see Ronda Rousey get a rematch against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. But I'm I don't know. I don't know what you do here. I think that the problem is also that they finally have a credibly booked Liv Morgan as a babyface to go up against Charlotte Flair. If Charlotte Flair is a heel, they're shying away from that. They have Tegan Knox as a friend of Liv Morgan, who can have matches against Charlotte Flair that are non-title, and Charlotte can really try and hurt Tegan Knox. Then Liv Morgan have more of a reason to do it. I mean, here's the thing. We're gonna get Shayna versus Charlotte, says Orion Ben. Okay, great. And I don't want to see I don't know, man. It's not gonna be. It's not going to be anything good. I don't know. I think Charlotte is naturally. I think here's the thing.
I have an interest in seeing Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler.
Oh,
I
sure.
Do, ring-wise, for sure.
Yes, if they book the match right. And I'm worried about that. And I'm worried about Shayna laying in some stuff and Charlotte being like, I'm sorry you laid that in too hard. Now I'm just going to sandbag you for the rest of the match because we've seen her do it before. So that's what I'm worried about there. I will say that I think that there's the very best babyface run that Ric Flair ever had was when they were trying to get you to believe that Vader was going to murder him in the middle of the ring. Everything else, Ric Flair was a natural heel and did it really well, and his daughter's basically the same way. So it feels like you got to find credible baby faces, especially there's a bunch of them that could be over on Raw. Like if you do the draft, put Candice LeRae over on SmackDown. If you're going to give Charlotte a long run, give her like a bunch of people to face in succession who are really fun babyface challengers for her before you put the right person over her. I don't find Charlotte to be a credible babyface, unfortunately. And here's the problem is that we saw another vignette for Operation Cobra Clutch. Lacey Evans is going to be built as the top heel to face Charlotte Flair. Maybe not at WrestleMania, but absolutely we're going to see multiple heel Lacey Evans versus Charlotte Flair babyface matches, and God help us all. That's all.
I have some really big concerns about this Lacey reboot, not just because it's the 400th one, but because it's being built like around this Marine Corps but in-ring thing, and in-ring was never her strength to me. So I don't know if I want to do a bunch of vignettes where they focus in on the moves of Lacey Evans. I don't know if that's like a great call, but I won't judge what I haven't seen in most cases unless it's extremely obvious. But that's, yeah, if the handwriting's on the wall for that, that's something I really just don't have an interest in. But something I do
remembers this thing of the final match they had Flair saying goodbye to his family for the last time before he got into a limo with Mean Gene Okerlund and drove to the arena to be killed live on pay-per-view. It was the craziest thing ever. Anyway.
Insanity. Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium was real good.
Wasn't it, of course?
No surprise here.
Nope.
No surprise here. This ends with Giovanni Vinci hitting Ridge Holland with an Imperium bomb. He's so good. He had just like a really fundamental springboard in here that looked amazing, which is, I love that. I love it when regular wrestling moves look incredibly clean and explosive. I don't need a lot more than that. That's why Butch is so good. But this was exactly kind of what I wanted out of this match. It's really, really nice to see. I'm going to call him Pete Dunne because it just makes my skin crawl otherwise. But Pete Dunne is so damn good in the ring. Like, I have so much fun watching him. They're obviously also familiar with each other, but Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci are just fantastic. I feel like Ludwig Kaiser, formerly Marcel Bartel, is so underrated because Giovanni Vinci was such a standout, but he's great, man. And he really showed up in this, I thought. But I thought this match was a whole heck of a lot of fun. Like you had said, another one that probably couldn't have been in the next round of this for sure. But great tag team wrestling on my show tonight here.
Yep. They structured the whole show around the first round of the tag tournament, which I thought was a cool way of getting to it. But there's zero reason that you could tell me why you can't have Imperium beat the Maximum Male Models and Brawling Brutes beat Legado del Fantasma. And the Legado del Fantasma versus Brawling Brutes could be the best match of the first round. Because Legado del Fantasma, I think we can agree, is the best of those non-4, and have that be a really, really great tight match. And then you have Drew and Sheamus beat Hit Row, and you have the Viking Raiders beat Los Lotharios. And then you have an actual really great Final Four where you know each of those matches is going to be as good as the matches we just saw here. And there'll be some doubt as to who might win. Because if the Brawling Brutes versus Viking Raiders, I'd watch the hell out of that too. So there's a lot of ways to you control the bracket. Make it better. Do better that way. Otherwise, it's fine. This is a great match. And Imperium versus Legado can be great. I want to say can be. I'm worried they're going to give it 7.5 minutes. That's what I'm worried about.
I agree. And speaking of things that can be great, your user experience on the internet can be great with NordVPN. My internet is not great, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to play this NordVPN ad. I'm going to go reboot my router, and Alex is going to read any more super chats, and he's going to vamp. And if he wants to vamp about Legado versus Maximum Male Models, he could do that. But not before we tell you about NordVPN.
NordVPN.com/Fightful. Block online trackers, annoying pop-up ads, unlock geo-blocked content. Maybe you missed the WWE Network. Maybe you want that AEW Plus. Maybe you want to subscribe to overseas services so you can get UFC pay-per-views at a reduced rate. Well, NordVPN.com/Fightful allows you to do that, and you can do it with 4 months for free with that link. Not only that, you get your 30-day money-back guarantee as well, just in case you don't like it for any reason. It works on all of your devices, so you can do this stuff wherever you are. Maybe you're on that unsecured Wi-Fi at the airport, the hotel. Yeah, it can be dangerous. Your info is at risk, but you can still gain access to all that stuff. Check out all of your favorite shows, or maybe shows you haven't discovered before, with NordVPN.com/Fightful, now with multiple tiers, so you can get whatever services that you want. NordVPN.com/Fightful.
Damn you, Alex, and your relentless logic, says Tom LaValle. Yes, that is it. Damn me. That's me. Let's read some more things here about Jay Briscoe. KK Hang says, "The very nice, thank you, very generous." Humper Chat says, "Great works from Kate, Alex, Sean, and the Fightful team. Rest in power, Jay, and prayers for full recovery to the Pew girls. We are all with you." Absolutely. Thank you for the donation. Meat Enormous says, "Here's another sack of money for the Briscoe fam from your tribal beef. Acknowledge meat." Thank you, Meat Enormous. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. 1LT Photo says, thank you guys for donating all the super chats. Those two girls going through what they did and what's coming is absolutely heartbreaking. R.I.P. Jay. Dax's video got me hard. Well, no, got me in the feels in a very large way. Not got me hard. That's very different. Yeah, I'm not changing this. I know I could, but I don't want to. All right, fine. Hold on. What do we do? And should we? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? This? Nope. 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 Where did I go? This? Nope. This? Nope. This? Nope. This? Nope. This? Nope. Sure. This. We're gonna do this. All right. We're just gonna do this now for a while. This? Nope. Definitely not.
No, I don't want to be Joel.
Yeah, I know, but you have to be. I got to be Jeremy. So suck it up.
Great. Jeremy's out here on the grind, legally or illegally.
That's true.
Be Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you did while I was gone? You're just going through backgrounds.
Well, they because I only you were here so I was doing this, and so everyone was like, "You've been broken in half," and so you've been broken. Yeah, there you go. So Cabbage Sensei says, "Such a tragedy. I hope for all affected I hope the best for all affected in the accident. Thank you, SGS and Fightful, for doing this fundraising drive. As weird as it sounds, I'm ready to be emotionally destroyed by the upcoming Celebration of Life special whenever it's released." Yeah, it's tough. I got a chance to watch a part of the Adam Cole promo that he cut during that, and it's very emotional stuff. So Shocky29 says, "First SmackDown I watched it a bit, and it really hit home how hard the talent have to work to get a reaction out of the crowds. If it isn't Bloodline related, they just don't seem to care. They care about the Bloodline stuff, that's for sure. And the matches get really cooking. They come to life, but other than that, they're really not.
And the fake crowd noise is so bad, man. It just is.
Yeah. Anyway.
Come on. Give us our frame back. Give me back my frame. There we go.
Okay. Give me back my frame.
Legado versus Maximum Male Models happened.
Yes. Hey, Maximum Male Models. I gotta give a shout out to these guys. Mansoor and Mace. Mansoor and Mace. These guys, especially Mansoor, but also Mace, but especially Mansoor. These guys have incredible comedic abilities.
They're real funny.
Do you know how much better this Dominic shtick would be if it was Mansoor being given that stuff to do? Do you know how many millions of times better the Dominic shtick would be if it was given to a guy who actually understood comedic timing, the variations in his vocal level to get across a point? Like, he's really good. All the stuff they're doing online is really quality stuff. I still understand why they're wrestlers. That's the problem here. But other than that, they're great, and they need to be on TV more. The stuff they're doing in these little vignettes that they do for the YouTube, they're really fun. They're really, really fun.
They're super fun on social media. They're just hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like the debuting the collections thing didn't really work for me because, again, how does it translate to a wrestling ring? They were kind of dancing around something when they were kind of having like the feud with, I think it was with Garza and Humberto, right? Like they kind of narrowed in on something, but then they backed off of it with the regime change. But I think they are super fun. But we get Cruz hitting Mansoor with a Russian leg sweep here. This was a glorified squash. Not a ton to say here, but if you had any thoughts, we can talk about them.
No, it's listen, I think Legado is great. I think that the former Raul Mendoza, Cruz del Toro it doesn't roll off the tongue as well as I wanted to. But I think Wild and Mendoza were so great in NXT for so long, and I feel like they never really got their just desserts over there. They never got really rewarded for it. So I hope they get a push here. I think Santos is amazing and should be pushed very hard coming out of WrestleMania season. I don't know what they're going to give him to do leading up to that, but after that, through the summer, push Legado del Fantasma. Absolutely push them. They're great. So I hope we get to see Imperium versus Legado in a 15-minute banger. I fear it's going to be a 6-minute sprint, which will be fun, but it won't be nearly what they are capable of giving us.
Yeah, I mean, like my dream match is probably Santos versus Mustafa. I think that would be like incredible, but both of those guys are kind of just swimming around. I think it's downright silly that you don't have Mustafa leading a stable. I'm not saying have him lead Retribution, but I am saying like that guy has the charisma and the wherewithal to carry people if you want him to. I would love for him to be a solo star, but they don't seem to want to do that. And because things are so stable heavy right now, I would eat that up. But agreed, Legado is great. Santos is great. Jam Beard saying, how about the reverse, Alex? How much better would Dom be if he was a maximum male model?
He wouldn't. There's nothing you can do to make him good. I'm sorry. There's just nothing you can do to make Dom good.
They're actually doing the best thing that they could do for him. To me,
they're trying really hard. The material is a lot better. He just can't deliver it.
Correct.
So that's a problem.
But we moved to our main event, which is the contract signing. And I thought, as far as contract signings go, this was certainly one of the better ones I've seen. Man, Kevin Owens sold the hell out of this to me. I loved it.
Oh, he's great.
We got Roman Reigns with his feet up on the table, waiting for Kevin Owens to come out. Solo Sikoa by his side. And man, Owens jumps Solo Sikoa. He stuns Roman Reigns. He's ringside with the Usos super kicking him. Adam Pearce books it in the most hysterical manner I ever saw. He was like, you'll get your punishments later. Peace out, fellas. And we get Paul Heyman pleading for his life. Kevin Owens just with this dismissive kind of look about him, signing the contract, and Sammy finally comes down way too late. Don't think the Tribal Chief's going to be very happy with that. and Kevin Owens just kind of shoves the contract back at him. The acting from everyone involved in this was pitch perfect. Kevin Owens is so easy to get behind. I love him as a heel. I might prefer him as a heel, but when he's a babyface doing stuff like this, it is phenomenal. Phenomenal work. The whole bloodline through line this entire episode I thought was really strong for the most part. Capping it off here was great. This was such a better contract signing segment than, I'm going to tell you why I'm going to kick your ass. Oh, let me tell you why I'm going to kick your ass. Oh my God, we're brawling. For a lot of reasons. And one of them is because we've seen Roman and Kevin Owens already have a trilogy of matches. Like, we don't need to hear that much more. This is barely about between being the two of them. This is this Sami Zayn ping pong game, right? So I thought this was a great way to go home. I thought the timing from Kevin Owens was just impeccable here, as were all the facial expressions. Just picture perfect stuff to go home on. What did you think of this?
I loved it, and I love when people are smart enough to write in the reason why stuff happens. Roman is just done with everything. Wants to get the hell out of Detroit. Says, make sure the drivers are ready. The SUVs are right where we want them. So we walk out of this arena, get in those SUVs. They drive us to the airport. Make sure you call the pilot. I want that jet fueled and running on the runway so we can get the hell out of here. Go make sure you got the Usos with you. Wait by the cars. And so Sammy is running around running errands for Roman. Roman sent him on those errands. So Roman will be pissed that Sammy took so long to get down to the ring, but Sammy was only taking so long because he was the furthest away from the ring because he was doing all that other stuff that Roman sent him to do. Is that excuse going to play well with Roman? No, it is not. So it's perfect. Roman's in the wrong, but he's never going to accept that he's in the wrong. It's perfect. And if they hadn't had the fact that they set all that up makes Sammy coming down to the ring make sense when he does. And I also love the little touch of Sammy getting up to the apron and stopping to look at Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens looking at him, and rather than doing anything else, he just leaves. Like, there's some, like, you can tell these two old friends still really love and respect each other, but it's on separate sides of the war right now. And they're going to come together in this beautiful moment where they're both broken, trying to hold each other up. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. I can't wait for it.
It's going to be great. I sincerely feel like, from an emotional impact standpoint, it's going to be the biggest thing that they've done in a really, really, really long time. I'm very, very excited for it. And I'm very excited to talk about Rampage tonight. I'm very excited
You can't yet, because we have more chats.
Okay, well, I was going to say that too, but I was also going to say I'm very excited for people to subscribe to Fightful Select. Catch us on the Royal Rumble post show on the paywall side of things. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of breaking news coming out of Royal Rumble that Sean will have covered for you as well. He's got select portions. He's got a Q&A. There's the List and the Boy goes on after the List and Your Boy, which has been very interesting because Jimmy Van has a great perspective on the business side of things with all this Vince McMahon stuff. So subscribe to Fightful Select to get all of that. And before we flip over into Rampage, Alex, I did want to remind anybody who's tuning in late, all Super Chats and Humper Chats going to the Briscoe family tonight. Yep. And darn it, if we don't have some of those chats right now.
We do. We sure do. Jake Salazar talking about Raw is XXX. Commentary Monday is going to be legendary with Irish Guy, Corey Graves, and Jerry Lawler. Man, Triple H must want to catch some hands. Man, it's going to be really bad. I didn't think about that. Jerry Lawler's going to be a commentary. It's going to be so terrible. So here we go. Rumble predictions. Jam Beard, his prediction is the final four should be Sammy, Drew, Solo, and Cody. With Solo doing the double elimination spot, eliminating Sammy and Drew together. Sammy has been the Iron Man the whole time. Roman told Solo to make sure Sammy doesn't win. And then Cody last eliminates Solo Sikoa. I like all that's really cool. I love Solo being the enforcer in the match that like Roman sends in there. to make sure everything goes right, and Cody being the last one to do it makes sense too. G-Bro has a prediction. Brock Lesnar comes out to no chance while doing the Vince McMahon strut.
I don't need any references to that on my screen, but God bless you.
So Jambeard says WrestleVotes is saying, not Fightful is saying, WrestleVotes is saying that WWE is happy with the surprises they have planned for the Rumble. Do you think we might get a shock surprise entrance from either Wade, Pat, or maybe even a cleared Corey Graves?
I think it would be Pat if it was anyone.
Pat. I think Pat would get a really cool reaction. It'd be a great way for him to come back after being away for such a long time, and I think he could do a couple of fun spots. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it could be a lot of fun. If anybody, I think it's that guy. And we got a couple more here for our little collection here, but they all come from Matthew Plus. Matthew Plus says Al is a good way to stave off super chats, and Katie's eyeshadow looks as good as her internet connection. That's just mean.
That's just mean on so many levels, but I actually am surprised that he didn't go for my bangs because, guys, my hair straightener is broken and I couldn't straighten my bangs today.
Yep.
It's bad.
Matthew Plus also says, showed my dog your show and he peed on the screen. Well, that's too bad for your TV. It's not good. And JDB Pringle.
I hope you have to spend like $1,000.
JDB Pringle says, more money for a good cause. Also, Maddie Minus is just the worst. Thank you, JDB Pringle. That is true. All right, talk about Rampage now.
Okay, let's talk about Rampage. I thought it was a fun episode tonight. I think it's in its groove, like we said before, but it kicks off with Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Ethan Page, who I need on my screen more often. This was such a blast. Stokely, of course, at ringside. But this ends with Page hitting the twist of fate, which he mocked earlier in the match with Matt Hardy there. I thought it was so much fun. Much to his dismay, Jungle Boy gets his boot up on the rope. This felt a little WWE, but I actually didn't hate it. Hook comes down for the distraction. Jungle Boy gets the roll-up. They don't overuse that playbook, so I'm not going to hold it against them because they don't do that as much. But this was a whole bunch of fun from an in-ring perspective. I love Ethan Page. There's so much to like about him, and Jungle Boy's, of course, just fantastic. What did you think of this match? And then we'll talk about the post-match a little bit.
It's very good. Obviously, I think Jungle Jack is only getting better and better and better. Ethan Page is worthy of a top slot. It is one of those things of you watch and you go, okay, this guy needs to be higher on the card, and then they go, okay, well, who on the card that's higher than him would you push down the card? And I go,
Jeff Jarrett.
Well, I don't consider him to be actually higher on the card. He is
in the tag team title picture.
True.
No more. I'm gonna smash his microphone like he smashes guitars.
Well, yeah. Most of the other people who are higher on the spot, I would not push down. But that's a problem. And that's why I've always advocated in AEW for a really fun little rotating off season where guys get a couple of months off, a pay-per-view cycle off. Do 6 pay-per-views a year, not 4. Make them shorter so they're not 6 hours long each time. And every so often, somebody will take a pay-per-view cycle off. They lose a big match at the pay-per-view. They take 2 months off. After the next pay-per-view, they come back, and then somebody else is taking time off. That's a really great way of keeping the people fresh at the top without everybody feeling like they have to be kind of pushed to the side. I've always advocated for that, whatever. I thought this match was great, and I love Ethan Page, and I'm very excited to see this Ethan Page and Matt Hardy shtick come to Dynamite with the match versus Jungle Hook.
Yeah, it's cool. They kind of built this whole angle with Matt Hardy out on Elevation, which I think is awesome. And then they had it translate here, but Afterwards, we get some shenanigans. Of course, we get Stokely Hathaway saying that he is pissed to the highest level of pistivity, which he stole from, of course, Malcolm Bivens, who might have taken it from a Robin Harris comedy special. But the point is, that's gimmick infringement on himself, which is actually impressive. But we get Ethan Page telling Matt Hardy that Matt Hardy's going to make up what he did with this match to him by having a match with Jungle Hook next week in Lexington, Kentucky. During the commercial break, he said that they did this just for Ali Cease, is what I heard. I don't think that's confirmed, but I heard that that's the point of this match, is to get Jungle Hook for Ali Cease. But good stuff here. Good stuff here. A fun opener. Like this show, an hour long, is just fun.
Malcolm Evans beat Matt Stokely and his stuff, man. That's not okay. Not allowed. Jeez. This is why you can't trust the Brits, man. You can't trust the Brits. They only want chaos. Like, nope.
Normally when I come on here, like if any other media stuff comes on, I'm like, look, everybody's actually friends and respects each other for the most part of credible outlets. I thought I liked those guys, okay? Especially Luke. Luke's always been really fantastic to me, but you can't trust anybody outside of Fightful. Nope. I'm going to say it. There's nobody good at their jobs outside of us. This is terrible. Thank you for spending $5 to tell me about the injustice in the world. Yep. Nope. That's not
allowed to do that. No. So yeah, no.
Don't support those guys. They're not wonderful people. Definitely don't go check them out.
No, they've got silly accents. So just don't do it.
Silly accents.
People who do funny voices, they don't deserve to be on podcasts. What are you talking about?
Oh
no. No, who's going to beat Darby for the title? And I'm now convinced of this, and it needs to happen. If it doesn't, I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to Tony Khan. And then I'm gonna send it to Will Washington, who knows Tony Khan, and make sure it can give it to him personally. Powerhouse Hobbs has to murder Darby Allin in the Bay Area, because that's where he's from. Revolution, like that's the perfect spot for it. Powerhouse Hobbs coming back to have that match in his home turf, beating the hell out of Darby Allin is just the very best way to do it.
I was thinking Miro, but
I mean, listen, Miro would be great too, but like Powerhouse Hobbs hasn't had a title yet, and it's his home turf. They let Darby go over his home turf. It's only fair that they let Powerhouse Hobbs put Darby in the hospital in Powerhouse Hobbs's home turf. So there we go.
That would be very, very fun. Very, very fun. You know what else is fun? Eddie Kingston beating people up.
Yeah.
I really liked a lot of this with Ortiz and Eddie tonight. This is getting chaotic in the best possible way, because it's chaotic, but not in a way that it doesn't feel like they have control of the plan.
He says it's only fair they let Hook marry me in my home turf. Wait, she says, wait, what?
True.
Anyway, what? Oh yeah, hold on.
Fair.
We just talked about LECs. So hold on. We hold on. We just got LECs. Hold on. Jem Beard says, I now want to see Ali Cease do a move where it's the camel clutch, but she's fish hooking both sides of the mouth. And then she calls that move, put a smile on that face.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm into the like forcing people to be a bestie thing.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Any other chats that we need to read? Anybody else think of any?
No. You were doing. What was your voice that people do? You were doing a funny voice earlier about something. What was the funny voice?
Like my weird salesman voice. I don't know why.
It was different. It was like and so.
That's I adopted that from Sean. Like, oh my god, the marks of the internet or whatever. Yeah.
The Amish electrician said didn't realize Kate was representing the Lollipop Guild. There you go.
See, I try and do that voice to keep my internet from making that voice happen for me, because when the internet slows down and it catches it up, it sounds like that anyway. So I try to get out ahead of it.
Good.
It's my move.
Good.
Ortiz is kind of sick of Eddie Kingston shit, Alex.
Well,
and I almost don't blame him.
He's very upset for Eddie Kingston threatening to hit Julia Hart with a chair.
Not a girl.
Yeah, no, you don't hit women. That's not how we were brought up. Did your mother bring you up that way? What would Homicide think? And that was the last straw. When Eddie was like, what would Homicide? Are you bringing in Homicide into this? Okay, fine. Chair shot. I'm leaving. Oh, it was great. Oh. It was great.
What else do you need? Ortiz also kind of says that he's losing respect for Eddie because he can see House of Black getting into his head and that he thinks that's kind of like lame in a sense, which I really liked that. Like Eddie Kingston should be kind of not able to let that happen to him with the character that he is. Mind games should not be a thing for him. But I thought this was awesome. I love this. I'm intrigued to see who comes out of this heel and face, or if that matters. I don't think it matters for the story, but for where people get booked down the line, it might. Yeah. But I thought this was a whole bunch of fun. What did you think?
Well, this is great. And I love, listen, Tony Khan, you implicitly promised me personally a Miro versus Malachi Black solo match, and you never delivered. You had Malachi Black cut a promo on Eddie Kingston, and now you're using this whole thing, to have Eddie Kingston and Ortiz have a little thing. I just want you to know, you have implicitly promised me an Eddie Kingston versus Malachi Black match, solo, one-on-one, and you must deliver on this. You stop showing me things and saying, would you like this, and dangling it in front of me and me reaching for it, and you go, oh no, you can't have it. Stop doing that, because it makes me very sad. I need my Eddie Kingston versus Malachi Black match. I need it. Like I need oxygen. So you got to give it to me sometime.
Very fair. And you're writing a lot of notes to Tony Khan tonight.
Right? Yeah.
It's a lot of dictating.
Yes.
Which is fine. I just think maybe condense them into one note, but
yeah, no, like bullet points.
Yeah,
bullet
I think that's good. I think that's good. It'll be easier on Will. So
Yeah.
So we move on to what was another great match here: Brian Cage and Willie Mack, and a banger was a banger.
Don't get ahead of yourself. We have to talk about this. Darby Allin has called out Buddy Matthews, and at this point, Tony Khan is booking Darby Allin to go over all of my faves to troll me personally. This match is going to be great. And there's too many of my faves that you've booked Darby Allin to go over at this point. And it feels like now you're just reaching into your, like, how far down the list do you got to go before you snatch up Buddy Matthews and put him in the match and make me what? It's going to be such a great match. And I'm going to be so sad when Buddy loses. And Buddy's definitely losing. And I feel like you have a personal problem with me, Tony. And it hurts. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'll say about this.
So we're going to have bullet points, and then you're just going to be like, It hurts my feelings.
Yes, it hurts my feelings. It does.
That match is going to be great. I've so far really liked this Darby Allin reign. Don't hate me. But I feel like we're seeing him wrestle to his capabilities way more than he has before, which makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that match as well. Mm-hmm. But now can we talk about Brian Cage versus Willie Mack? Because it ruled in Lucha Underground. It ruled on AEW Dark, and it was great tonight. A whole lot of fun. These are two big guys who have no business being as athletic as they are in the ring whatsoever. I love Willie Mack. I think he's so great. But this ends with a nice little sequence from Cage, a knee strike into a power bomb into the drill claw. I can't get over how big these dudes are and how athletic they were in this, Alex, for the third time.
Yeah. What's the name of the father in The Incredibles? Is it Captain Incredible or Mr. Incredible?
I think Mr.
Mr. Incredible, right?
I think so, yeah. You're the one with the daughter. I don't know.
That we haven't introduced you to The Incredibles yet. There's a lot of things up the list before we get to The Incredibles. Willie Mack is Mr. Incredible. Because he's got the gut and everything, but he's a superhero who just flies through the air, punches people so hard they disintegrate. Like he's got all the superpowers, but he doesn't have the body to show for it. You know what I mean? Like that's who Willie Mack is. Like he's built like your uncle who's got a serious eating disorder, but he does like flying kicks and like he's just God, he's so great. I love Willie Mack. I've loved Willie Mack since the very first match I ever watched him in Lucha Underground. When he came out, I was like, who is this big boy? I love it. I can't wait to see him throw people around. And then he started throwing himself around at people. And I was like, that's not a fan. That's like, he's so, so good. I love Willie Mack. And I love Brian Cage. Brian Cage and Willie Mack had some really great matches in Lucha Underground. The match on Dark was great. This was also great. Willie Mack should get a contract. Give him the graphic. Give him the graphic. And here's what you also do with him. Listen, I don't know where you put him with everybody, but like, listen, I don't know, man. Like, here's either Keith Lee's going to need somebody for backup against Swerve and his mogul affiliates, and Willie Mack is a perfect guy just to be like, hey, I'll come team with you because we're basically twins. Like, that would be a lot of fun. Or you replace the no account white boys in Swerve's group with Willie Mack. Willie Mack is absolutely worth Parker and the other guy put together. Just do that. Do that. Like, team with Powerhouse, whatever. Like, he's so good. Like, you find a way to like put him in an important spot and he will shine all the time, man. He's so good.
Mr. Incredible is such a perfect pull. I love it so much. That's so funny.
Somebody with Photoshop skills. Put Willie Mack's head on Mr. Incredible's body with the mask and everything. It's perfect.
And credit to Brian Cage. This to me is the most interesting iteration of him under the AEW umbrella for sure. Like, this is the best he's looked, the most comfortable he's seemed in the ring, in my opinion. I really, really like it. I really, really like it. So we'll move along.
Hold on. Careful, Alex. Your love for Willie Mack is going to make TK have Darby beat it. Yep. And then CO says, Tony Khan's the old man dangling the dollar bill from the fishing line. Oh, you got to be quicker than that. Also, I love this one too. This is also a really good idea. Amish Electrician says, give me that Willie Mack and Leon Ruffin tag team. That shit, some stuff, man. That's some really good stuff. I've always wanted, listen, the X-Men, Colossus and Wolverine had this thing called the fastball special, where the giant guy would huck the smaller guy at people. And that's kind of what I want Willie Mack and Leon Ruffin to have the fastball special as their tag team finisher. That would just be great.
Oh man. Any more chats?
I think Orion Ben said, can we get Willie Mack a permanent slot? About time. Yes. I would like that. That would be great.
That would rule. So we've got Jade Cargill and Leila Gray versus Jada and Jordan Vanity, who were very fun. Like, they're a blast. I don't think I've seen them before. I really, really liked what I saw from them tonight. They've got a great presence about them. This was a glorified squash, but some good stuff happened in here. Leila hitting, I think it was Jada with a face buster, and Jade just shouting no. She wanted to be the one to get the pin. She hits the Jaded and they get the win. Jade's ego is growing, and I think it's going to cost her at that 50-0 mark, Alex.
Yeah. I think that should be the story they tell anyway. It's interesting that they didn't do a if they have, at least I haven't seen it if they have, because Leila Gray was brought in earlier in 2022 by Stokely. And at first, Jade was like, no, I didn't choose her. She's not part of the baddies. I don't want this. And she gave her a hard time. But now she's the only one that Jade trusts. So I feel like there's a story that they can tell, a through line there that would be very interesting. I think Jade is just an absolute megastar, and she continues to show out and improve. And I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes after the win streak is broken, because now it becomes okay. Now the story isn't about you winning all the time. What do we go from here? And there's gonna be a lot of great.
Agreed. This was a perfectly serviceable thing to have.
I want to answer this question. Lucha Underground used to be free on streaming on Tubi, and it's no longer free on streaming on Tubi. So you can buy it on iTunes. You can buy individual episodes of it, but that gets expensive. Is it on Amazon Prime now? Is it like Prime, like free on Prime? Because I got to watch some of that stuff. I can look it up. I'm looking it up right now. You talk.
It's a very different take on wrestling, Jesse Ozog, and my guess is that you would be into it, because based on the vibes of what we know of you as a chat. We have got a new subscriber in the chat. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you guys for the support tonight in general. We are coming down the home stretch with our main event of Rampage, so if you do want to get those donations in for Jay Briscoe's family, now is the time via Super Chat or Humper Chat. But we got Action Andretti versus Daniel Garcia here with Sami Zayn on Sami Zayn was not on commentary. Sammy Guevara was on commentary alongside Chris Jericho for a lot of this. What I thought was a really solid match here. Action Andretti looks good. I can see what it sounds like. Jericho kind of handpicked him for their Dynamite Kid or their 1, 2, 3 Kids situation. Like, I thought that was super well done, and I understand it. I think he's great, and I also think, for as young as Daniel Garcia is, the fact that he's already almost like ring general status of helping lead people through matches is kind of ridiculous. I thought this was a really fun main event and a great way to go home. A first really good look at Action Andretti, and he looked awesome. What did you think of this?
I love Action Andretti. I think he's got a really bright future. I think that turning him into their version of the 1, 2, 3 Kid is a perfect idea. I think that they can do some really great stuff with him. I would not be surprised to see to look back in like 2025 and be like, can you believe this guy who's right into the top of the whole thing, had a couple of title shots, if not had a run with a TNT title or whatever. Remember that, where he snatched that victory from Chris Jericho? That was crazy, and people will talk about it in that moment. It's going to be really, really interesting. I thought the match was fun. I thought Daniel Garcia can't wrestle in leather pants anymore. Please don't make him wrestle in leather pants anymore. It doesn't quite work. He looks like very small after a buzz cut test. It just doesn't work. The leather pants don't work for a guy that small. You got to have really long legs if you're going to be wearing leather pants. It doesn't quite work. Anyway, it's some really good stuff. And Shotki 29 says, hell of a Rampage main event. Starting to think Action Andretti is pretty good at this pro wrestling thing. Also, it may be just me, but I feel like I'm starting to notice small but significant production changes to Dynamite and Rampage, more like video packs. Yeah.
Yeah, they brought in a new person into that position. I think it's paying off. A lot of the things just feel a little bit smoother. The lighting of the audiences has been better for the most part. Like, significant stuff outside of those like set changes, the drastic ones that we saw. But I've liked it. I've liked the tone of it. Video packages have been really, really strong. Daniel Garcia and those leather pants, they were a gift from Sammy Guevara, I think. So God bless him.
Okay, sorry. I have Ali C did this Photoshop I requested, so I have to save it and then upload it because it's amazing. Hold on, I got it. Okay.
I'll also say, while we're on the topic of Daniel Garcia and leather pants, while you're downloading that, it reminded me of when Jericho wore leather pants into the hot tub all those years ago, which popped me tremendously.
I want to get the, hold on. Open image in new tab. Open image in new tab. There we go. Okay, here we go. Hold on. There's also some sour chats, some super chats I wanted to read as well. Hold on, but I can't do that right now. Okay. So, where'd they go? They're gone. I gotta find them. Dang it. Okay. So, okay. Willie Incredible is the name of the file on my computer. Just so you know. Okay. So here we go.
Is Willie Mack Mr. Incredible? It's not
Tab 722 says Action Andretti rocks. Reminds me of a young, amazing red, R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. Yeah, a young, amazing red is an idea, too.
Not a bad guy to look like.
No. Orion Ben 666 says, okay, who's the hater that effed with Mark Henry stuff? Did I miss that? I feel like I missed it.
I definitely missed it because I didn't. I was probably getting ready for this a little bit. But
yeah.
I don't know who the hater is. Normally that's Orange Cassidy, isn't it? Oh, I'm Alex.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, you are. Hold on.
I'm Alex Pulaski. Everything sucks. Voices.
Okay, we're uploading it. Here we go. Boom.
Oh my god.
Isn't it perfect? It's perfect. LEC is the best. This is amazing. It's so
Look
perfect.
at the chat. The chat is lighting up for this.
Somebody send this to Willie Mack. Put it all in his DMs. This is perfect.
Alex, lean the other way so that we can smile next to it.
So yeah, instead of
Allie forgot this was on the main feed.
Of course, it's on the main feed. It's amazing. It's perfect. So he's not doing the real-time interviews anymore. It's a video package. And then it goes to, he says it's time for the main event.
No, that's gross. Change that back immediately.
No, change it back immediately. I missed it. I'm sorry. He needs to be in the live-action remake. He is incredible. No pun intended. It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. That's great. Amish Electrician says babyface Jade is going to lose after 50-0 to Mercedes Moné.
I would think at Revolution if they try to do all that Mercedes stuff to swerve us. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's gotta be Chris Statlander.
Jambeard says that I am asking TK. Okay, can you give me Malachi Black versus Miro, or maybe Malachi Black versus Eddie Kingston? And then Tony kind of saying back to me, best I can do is Darby beating all of your faves. So that's.
I'm not into that. Okay, well, how about more Jeff Jarrett then? Get out of here.
Willie Mack credible.
Alex, we're just so silly all the time.
Yeah, I just copied and pasted the mask. Oh, we understand. It makes it even better. It makes it even better.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, I love it. I love
it's
it.
Amazing.
We are far too crazy. Hold on. Since we realize this is basically what we are now. Hold on. There we go. Now it's our actual show.
We've tipped the scales. And you know what, Alex? It's a good thing you put up this frame because we're going to be on the Sourgrass brand after the Royal Rumble post show on Fightful Select. So you can join us there. This is the end of our show. Thank you so much for...
No, it's not. We have 3 more.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have 3 more chats.
Sorry.
Go at them.
Sorry. Here we go.
No, don't be sorry.
Here we go. Chris Mueller says... I'm so insulted, Kate.
It's my show.
About the Bleacher Report thing.
About the Bleacher Report thing? What? That I forgot to tell everybody that if you have a single problem with your Bleacher Report instance when you watch an AEW pay-per-view, tweet at BR _doc, and he will fix all of your issues and your whole life. He's not a feature writer that does great interviews. He's a technician.
CO says Tama Tanga and Tanga Loa. Wait, sorry, wrong. So no, we're not doing Tang puns tonight. Still, that was Wednesday when it was. It's okay if we do puns all night if it's Sean's idea, then it's okay.
Sean's idea. Jack and
Luis is
gimmicks.
asking if we're gonna do jukeboxes tonight. The ones from Tuesday. Actually, the ones from 2 Tuesdays ago. And we're saying no, we're not going to do those tonight. We'll figure out another way to do it. Okay. Yeah, no, it's not working out. But finally, EVP of Talent Relations, Head of Creative, says, please review Grandma's Boy for Get the Flick Out of Here.
Get the Flick Out of Here? You mean
what's that?
The podcast that we recorded today on the Know Your News Network?
Yeah, I'm going to look it up because it hadn't been gone live the last I looked. So maybe they were like, no, we can't do it. We thought you guys were going to do Thelma, not Velma.
Why you got to bury me?
I'm not burying you. I'm burying them for not putting it up. Hold on.
So we have a show called Get the Flick Out of Here on the Know Your News Network, and we reviewed the show Velma, which is terrible, unfortunately. But in our chat, where Alex and I tell them what we're going to review, I said Thelma, which also happens to be a Norwegian horror movie from 2017.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
all the artwork that they
so
were...
it's not up there today for some reason.
Okay.
It's not up there today. But anyway.
But it'll be coming down the pike.
Yeah, well.
Do we have any more chats?
Since Kate is now Alex, we need her to do Regal.
War Games. That's all I got.
There you go.
I'm a Tiffany Stratton specialist at this point in my life.
I told Emily about Mr. Incredible Willie Mack, and all she said was why, and went back to sleep. Emily, you're a party pooper. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for your donation.
I'm the host, Alex. Thank you, everybody, so much for your donations. Sincerely, any money that we're able to give to the Pew family during this time, I'm sure is appreciated and helpful. They have their fundraiser if you want to donate on your own, but we really appreciate doing this. I really appreciate Sean and Jimmy for rolling with this idea when I thought about this at like 2 a.m. yesterday. And I thank Alex Pulaski, this guy on that side of the screen, for stepping in tonight, for Mirror Alex, for Dude Felice, for dealing with me 3 times this week. But where can the good people find you?
You can find me on the Twitter at Alex Sourgraps, which is right below Kate for some reason. And you can follow Kate at Miss Kate Fabe, which is right below me for some reason. And you can find Kate and I over on Monday reviewing Raw, which I've decided already. The title of that episode is going to be Old Folks Go Home. Instead of the Old Folks Home, it's the Old Folks Go Home. Because the Go Home show for the Rumble just features Hulk Hogan for some reason. So yeah, we'll be reviewing Raw over there on Fightful Select. And on Tuesdays, we do, hopefully this Tuesday, we will not have a horrible tragedy or the erroneous report of a terrible tragedy, which was the Vince McMahon Saudi thing. And we'll just be able to do a regular show where we do puns for 2 hours. And that'll be on Tuesdays, reviewing NXT. And then I review Dynamite with Sean on Wednesdays. And then normally on Fridays, I do a watch along of Rampage while reviewing SmackDown on Fightful Select. It's a lot of fun. So check me out in all those places.
Thank you, Orion Ben, for sending our Photoshop to Willie Mack. That's so great. You can find me at Miss Kate Fabe under Alex's name for this moment. And you can also find me all the places that I also normally co-host with Alex. Mondays on Select, Tuesdays, and I'm always here on the Fightful main channel as well. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be on the Jericho Cruise, so hit me up on Twitter if you're also going to be on the Jericho Cruise. But thank you so much for your donations, your support all of the time. If you could leave a thumbs up on the way out, we would really appreciate that as well. Helps people find us in the algorithm a little bit, but thank you so much for all of your generosity today, and always have a safe and wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.